So we're at day 2 of the NDC Oslo, and I've got Peter Marcu. Am I saying that right? Sitting next to me. Could you tell a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Sure. Yeah, I'm the engineering manager for .NET Core, working on things like .NET Standard, .NET Core 2.0, the open source side of everything for .NET Core. I work for Microsoft, and I've been there about 12 years. And
cool.
Done .NET most of that time.
Yeah, it sounds like a really awesome job.
Yeah. I really love it.
Cool. So we've got a couple of questions for you. So to start off with the first one, so would you expect that with Netstandard that we get like super consistent APIs over time, and then to make sure that like expectation that people have of the APIs will be more consistent over different platforms, different types of the API?
Sure. So there's actually two different review bodies that are part of .NET Standard and .NET. One body is called the .NET API Review Board, and then there's the .NET Standard API Review Board. So before an API gets into the .NET Framework or .NET Core or any of the platforms really, we spend a lot of time really designing and thinking about the API. So we follow the .NET Framework Design Guidelines, which is a book that was published about 15 years ago. Yeah. And we still have, Christoph Solina is the guy who authored that book, and he's still on our team, and he still spends a lot of time reviewing a lot of the APIs, and we have a lot of other developers that have kind of grown up with .NET and spend a lot of time reviewing those. We also review a lot of APIs from other parts of the company or other parts of the ecosystem. Right. So when it comes to .NET Standard, I expect that the first place an API will go will be into one of the frameworks. So it'll go into .NET Core or it'll go into .NET Framework. And by that means it'll already have been reviewed for standards and for following the guidelines. So I think the standard body is going to be more about which things should work everywhere and which things all platforms should do, while this API review board is more about providing that consistent API surface area. But that's always a goal. Yeah, we would love APIs to always be fluent and working together. And
yeah, awesome, cool. So on to the next one. So now that we have Netstandard and the different versions of it, would you expect that we get like a complementary type of standard for, say, gaming APIs? So we get game standard 1. whatever.
Sure. I'm not sure whether they'll call them standards or not call them standards, but there's already been a few themes that have emerged. And we've always had somewhat themes of APIs, but I'll name a few that I know are going on right now. Unity is defining a standard for their gaming platform, so they're going to make sure that if you write to a subset of APIs for Unity, then you'll be able to run on all the Unity platforms.
Cool. Yeah.
Tizen, you may or may not be familiar with that. Samsung is releasing Tizen as an operating system with .NET Core built into it for all their devices, mainly their TVs to start, and then I don't know what their plan is after that. But they have a bunch of controls and a bunch of things that they've built for XAML.
Yep.
So they basically have a platform that they're calling the Tizen standard, which is cool. The controls that they'll make available everywhere. And then there's also this thing called the XAML standard, which is something where it's the higher level UI framework trying to unify Xamarin Forms, WPF, UWP, such that so that when you write a Forms application, you'll use the same types, and a text box will mean a text box on every different form.
Yeah, which is kind of useful.
Right. So I think we're already starting to see those types of things emerge, but I'm not sure there will be competition, but not necessarily competition, but people leveraging the fact that you can have a platform representation.
Yeah, that's excellent.
That's consistent.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. All right, so we've talked a bit about like the Netstandard and the structure around it. What advice would you have for teams? Should you start jumping on the .NET Core bandwagon? Should you first target like .NET Standard? Anyone? Okay. Have you got some advice on that?
Yeah, I think it almost always comes down to what you need to do. If you've got a web forms application or a WinForms application or a WPF application, those work really well on Windows. There's really no reason to move anywhere else. So you're fine where you are. One thing I tell people to do is, if you can, extract out your business logic into libraries. In the past, we would have said extract them out into portable class libraries. Now we would say extract them out into .NET Standard libraries, so that you're ready when the time comes to turn your business logic into a website, turn your business logic into a mobile app, you've already got your business logic, your core library ready to go.
So it's all about like preparing for the future.
Right. And then when it comes to .NET Core, the things we talk about there are if you need to go run on Linux, or if you have a bunch of developers that have to work on a Mac, or if you want to have a lean, X-copyable, fully containerizable application, then .NET Core, or like .NET Core is also moving fastest. So if you want to be on the bleeding edge with all the innovation and trying all the new features and being in that world,
you need to be.
That's where you'll need to be.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really hope you enjoy the rest of NDC. I'm sure I will. It's a great talk so far.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.